Hey, everybody, welcome back to a new episode of the Small Things Podcast. It's a podcast where small things make me really annoyed and become big issues. All right, guys, I'll be on tour coming up in November. So with that being said, need you there. In November 30th, I'll be in Austin, Texas. December 1st, I'll be in Fort Worth, Texas. December 5th, I'll be in Stamford, Connecticut. December 6th, New York City, baby. And then December 11th, I'll be in Sacramento. December 12th, I'll be in San Francisco. And then next year, January, I'll be in Charlotte, North Carolina. February, I'll be in Minneapolis, Minnesota, or Bloomington, as some would say. And I'll also be in Boston in February. And then last but not least, I'll be in Seattle in March. Thank you guys for watching this about-to-be episode. It's going to be fun, and if you like and enjoy what you see, hear, feel, leave a comment, subscribe, do all the things that YouTube would like you to do for me. You know, take care of me, that's what they say. But nonetheless, here is a new episode of the Small Things Podcast.
You bring her out, you have her hold small things. You bring her out, you have her hold small things.
It's time to think about things that we call tall. Really isn't anything big, it's all small. I'm getting mixed feels knowing what the pod brings. Cause it's a big deal listening to small things.
You bring her out, you have her hold small things.
Guys, welcome back to a new episode of Small Things Podcast. I am an estranged dad. I'm like here and there. I apologize. Let me just get the apology out of the way. I'm 37. I'm not around as much as I should be, but guess what? I wanted to come back. I wanted to start doing this because everybody deserves whatever this is. This is me just trying to, this is what 37 looks like. This is it. I don't know if you guys know. I mean, it's interesting when you're younger because you see, if I met somebody who was 37, I'd be like, this guy has grandkids. He's old. He's disgusting. And then the older you get, you're like, oh, man, it's not that bad. It's not as bad. I don't think I look as bad as I thought I would look. And it's weird because, everybody younger than you disagrees with you. That's the weird conundrum of age where in that moment, you're like, oh, I feel younger. My brain feels younger. I think I might look younger. And maybe some people who are older can agree to that. But for the most part, everybody who's younger is like, you're disgusting. But, this is it. This is just like things happen. I'm trying to be like more, as I get older, I'm trying to be more conscious of, let me step back. When you're younger, I feel like you're just living in the moment. It's like euphoric. It's like the pregame. It's the pregame of life for the most part. You're getting ready. You're getting amped up. Music's playing. It's fun. You don't even think about there's cool things that are going to happen later, but in the moment, it's so new and it's your sensory overload. And then, you hit your middle-aged 30s, we'll call that, and then you're at the bar. And then I think that's even younger people when they're at the bar. Still, the pregame vibe is euphoric. They're kissing and licking and sucking and fucking and doing whatever they do, not being aware of, like, the clock. And I think that's what age, at least being in your late 30s, I don't want to say late to anything. Saying late is a shitty way to describe your age. I'm in my late 30s. Okay, relax, late. But what I feel at this age is you start being aware of the clock, which I think is a bit of a depressant to some degree. I mean, you're like, oh God. You start doing math in your head. That was the hardest thing for me is when as I got older, I started doing like math. And it's like, oh man, if I do all of that again from my age, from 0 to now, if I do all of that again, I'll be fucking 90. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'll be 70. Let's be honest. Let's be technical. I'll be 74. And you're like, Jesus Christ. And I'm like, am I in a midlife crisis? I mean, I'm not really, there's not much of a crisis going on. I'm still better than everyone older than me. No, I'm just kidding. But that's the math you start doing. And I think this is the age where it all kind of hits you a little bit. When you're younger, I used to have like brief moments of like, I'd be laying in bed in my dorm. I remember this vividly. I'd be laying in my bed in my dorm, snuggled up. No, you got some responsibilities of class and all this bullshit. And then you're fucking just like, you're thinking. And I was like, man, I'm going to be. And usually it starts with like my mom's age, but I'm like, man, if I'm this age, my mom's this age, and in 10 years she'll be this and I'll be this. And then you feel that feeling that you kind of get when you're a little older coming up, and you're like, I'm not going to fucking do this right now, dude. I'm in the pregame. Why am I worried about that? And then now this is the age where I'm just like, fucking Christ, I'll be 74 if I do this again. Even when I lived out here, I was out when I hit 10 years in Los Angeles. I was like, you can feel what 10 years is. It's like feeling someone punch you in the face. You're like, man, if I get fucking 5 more of those, I'm done, dude. 5 more blasts of a 10-year, of a decade, dude. That's why they call it a decade, because you're getting decked in the face. And roughly people can only take about 8 to 9 of those if you're lucky, and then they're fucking just KO'd for the count, dude. Yeah, but now it's like, it's not bad, people. Don't freak out. It's fine. I think it's a good little lull to go in. It's good to kind of wrap your head around where you are on this on this spectrum of time, and understand things. And because now what I try to do, it's like when I don't get envious of people younger. I'm like, you did that, whatever, that's your thing. Because I feel like the longer you're too fucking envious about people who are younger than you, you're missing what's going on now. And sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Yeah, then you're not enjoying this time. So I don't know. I'm enjoying this time. 37. I'm enjoying being 37. This is a fucking whatever this is. I mean, it's an age where I put baby powder on my body, which is the opposite of cocaine. It's the opposite. Sorry for doing the noises. I just ate a spoonful of peanut butter like I'm an old dog or a young dog. I'm a young dog. I'm in my really or early 40s. That's what I tell people. Yeah, so it's interesting. Now I try to just fucking wrap my head around just where am I? Where are you? Do that for yourself. Where are you? Just think ahead. And then when I see somebody who's older, I'm just like, oh, they're just a version of me, just older. And that makes me not want to treat them different. I understand. I think one thing that starts to drop off as you get older is just the allure of everything, right? Like when you're younger, everything's stimulating, and to an older person, that's kind of annoying to be around. Being around a younger person is like being around a friend who's drunk. Does that make sense? Where everything's fun to them, and they're always trying to get excited. You're like, dude, chill. I'm sober. I'm not fucking some drunk 21-year-old. You get a little more sober as you get older. So I try knowing that, I try to, it makes me look at my relationships with I meet older people differently, where it's like, I think it's still fun. I think when I see somebody who's younger, I remember that feeling. A lot of it still is just like, shut up. It's too much. But a part of me is like, it's enjoyable. So I try to use, I'm like a 80-20, 80% serious with older people, and then I try to sprinkle in a 20% because I'm still going to be myself. I'm not going to fucking act that old, dude. Some of my friends, they love acting old. I don't know what it is. It's such a bizarre thing I see through a lot of people in this age range, even when we're even younger, like the friends who like, they almost like romanticize like being like, I'm an old guy. And I'm like, dude, we're 28. What do you mean we're old? Even like in your mid 30s, you're like, I got time for that. I'm not doing it. You're like, we're not that old. We're not like wearing sweatpants every day old. We're like, and I think it's an easy out. It's an easy out if you're fucking lazy and you don't want to face reality in the I mean, what is it? What are you scared you're going to dress and it look a little too young? Don't get me wrong, that's a pet peeve of mine. When old people dress young, dude, that bothers me so much. When an old person, man or woman, is trying to dress too young. There's clothing for your age that makes you look youthful and vibrant and with the times. I think people get being with the times and looking younger mixed up. Like when I see like, I don't know what it is, dude. Like old dudes who are like sneakerheads drive me crazy. Like the sneaker game to me is for young people. So when I see like these old dudes like who are not only wearing Jordans, but that's their whole personality, you're like, what are we doing here? That's fucking weird. Or I mean, even in the comedy world, like where older people are like, oh, they're just like fucking sticking their head in the doorway of the 20s. Like I'm still here. I'm cool. Doing like weird young shit. I don't even know what the fuck. Like, I guess in the comedic aspect, it's just like they're like pandering to like fucking 20-year-olds with their material. And I'm like, what are we doing? What is this? You're a creepy. You're doing a Dane Cook. You're doing what, like, he was like 45, talking like, you know, I was texting this girl the other day to like, we were like, I'm like, bro, you're trying to sound like you're a fucking college kid. People, what's the through line of all this? Age grace, just deal with it. Get older. I don't know. It's weird though being this age because I have single friends. I mean, it's, you know, I like this age because people are either married with 9 kids or fucking still single from the 20s. It's like this. You ever see that, like, where the oceans merge? There's, like, that fucking video. I don't even know what the fuck it is, where there's, like, a seam. That's where, like, that's your fucking 30s, where just, like, single 20s, and then the other oceans, the old fucking bullshit, family bullshit, dude. My friends have kids. My friends don't have babies. They have children. They have people in their lives. Oh, that's your kid? No, it's a human in my house. It's fucking crazy. And then that's what but I do appreciate my my single friends though. I think they're it's fun. I mean, when you're in a relationship, you need the single people in your life. And at this age too, it's really fun because I like hearing the stories. I like that. It's like hearing a drifter. It's like somebody. Imagine being at your house. You're in a relationship. You're in your house, and then some traveler. He's like, "You want to hear some? You want to hear some shit? You want to hear some tales of the single world?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do." He's like, "Dude, I fucked some girl on the back of a truck." You're like, "Jesus Christ, where?" I was drunk. I was at a bar. You're like, "Good Lord, you're insane." When my friends tell me like sex stories, I'm like, I'd be lying if like half of me is not kind of into it. I'm like, this is fucking hot. It sounds like it's like an audio book porn. You're like, Jesus Christ. It's like the male POV. The male POV of like a porn where you hear like your friend being like, "Dude, I fucking hooked up with this chick, big ass titties," and you're just like, I'm way too into this story, but I need that. That's what you need. Guys in relationships, we need the single guys. Like, you can't just be at like an event with only people in relationships. That's fucking boring. At this age too. Ew. Ugh. Just all people in the relationships. It's all sitting next to our partners the whole time. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I said partners. My girlfriend told me the other day that she's referred to me as her partner, which I'm like, well, that's good to know that everyone thinks I'm a woman now. That's the thing. I don't know. I'm too 90s. I'm too 80s babies to adopt partner, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, my single friends are fun. I love, you need that though. But you're at a, what are you going to be? It's like, you're going to be a single for life. You're going to go, you got to dig in and figure that out. But, figure what out though? Who gives a fuck? You ever like feel pressure from shit, like from whatever the case may be, where even me tell you can't be single. That's that like life pressure where people are like, you got to do this, that. Fuck you, suck my dick. Everyone's like, oh, you live in an apartment, you should get a house. Yeah, you should blow me. You should worry about your house. You ever go to somebody's house, you're like, this is so boring. I like being in people storage. That's what apartments are. It's just storage for humans. That's just an area being like, okay, we have too many people and they're all poor and we can't, where do we put them to go? Let's make a house, but like 1 million rooms in it. And then we just shove them all in there. That's way more fun than fucking, that's way more fun than going to someone's house. You ever go to someone's fucking house? You're like, what do you do all day? I mean, you literally just like, your neighbor is like far away. You're just like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like even I'll stay at my mom's when I go back and I'm just like sitting in there and I'm like, imagine like I leaned to my girlfriend. We were there recently back in back in the gay part of New York City called Connecticut, and we were hanging out, and I'm just like midday. I was like, man, imagine just sitting here. Like, what would we do? Especially in this profession. Like, this is a profession where you're home a lot. You're doing, so it's like I couldn't even imagine being there. Where it's like everybody back home, like in Connecticut, they work all day. Like, this is a city where you can go out right now and there's no one's working. It's like every day here feels like a Saturday in Connecticut with the amount of people outside doing whatever they want. And I couldn't even imagine fucking doing that right now. I mean, I like, don't get me wrong, I want to buy a house. I want to do all that fun shit. But I mean, I like house complaints versus noise versus like an apartment noise complaint. Very different though. My neighbor here has been good guy. I mean, it's like people with like apartment noise complaints. Like I hear you like tapping the wall and it's kind of bothering me because I'm trying to, film. You're like, fuck you, film. What do you mean? Just like a little thing. And then you hear like a house noise complaint and it's just like, yeah, can you not set fucking M80s off in your backyard? I mean, it's just like what people do in their own yards is insane to me. I can't always have a house and just park my cars in my lawn. You ever see the house with the car? I go, what is happening in your life where you're like, we need to put a car in the lawn? Where your lawn becomes storage, you're like, what is in that house? What the fuck is in that goddamn house where your lawn now is like an old washing machine lawn? And then it's cute whenever you see those houses because there's still like an area for decoration. Like maybe the gnomes will distract people from the car. Just a bush doing whatever the fuck it wants in that yard. You ever see the landscaping just literally growing like humans don't exist in those yards? My mom has a neighbor. I'm just like, is somebody going to check on them? I mean, it's like the grass is like hay. The grass looks like a field you walk through. Trees are going through the windows. Cars, flat tires in the lawn. And they're just like, they're fucking dirty. I'm like, I think they're deceased. I don't think they're dirty. I think no one's in there. That'd be fun to have a yard. Just go swimming with. That's one thing I'm like, God, you always fucking... It's weird to like hear all these stories. I'm like, man, you damn well know my anxiety. If the day I got a house and I had a pool, my anxiety's like, you're going to drown in that fucking thing. You're going to drown in that pool, buddy. And then the dog's going to be watching you wagging its tail. That's the scariest thing when you see these like emergencies. You ever see like an emergency video where they're like the house is on fire or like something's happening and the dog's like wag? There are the dogs there's like the viral videos where like a dog can save somebody. I'm gonna have the dog that's like sees me choking or drowning in a pool and it's wagging its tail and then it goes. I love those videos because after like the emergency, the dog goes and just lays and like starts chewing a toy. You're like, Jesus Christ. I don't want a pet because I heard a story that when you die, your cats will like eat your face or some shit like that. Is that true? When you die, do your pets eat you? If you die at home alone, there's a decent chance your pet will eat you. Bro, everyone's like, why don't you get a dog? Why don't you get a cat? I'm like, I don't know. Maybe because if I die, it's gonna devour me. I don't want a pet because I don't want to have my family walk in and my fucking head is gone and then my dog is full. From dogs that chew up faces to cats that gnaw their way into chest cavities to a hamster that built a nest from strips of its owner's skin, a corpse scavenging by pets is just a fact of life, says forensic anthropologist Carolyn Rando. Yeah, dude, enjoy your pets. How's that sound? Know what they didn't bring up is birds. Birds are like, yeah, birds are just going to fly away. They're like, birds are going to fly away like, I didn't do it. Cats, I mean, what's more scary? A dog chewing up your face or cats gnaw their way into your chest cavities? Bro, what if you have both? A lot of you people have both. A lot of people have all three. That would be... hands down, the most terrifying thing the way to be found. I'd be like, oh, it's a murder. The animals did it. There's no way the animals didn't do that. The way the cat's purring in his chest cavity. That's what kind of blows my mind. You ever see those videos where like the dog's at the owner's funeral and it's like whimpering? I'm like, he's whimpering because he wants to fucking rip his head off. He's not like sad he's gone. Even when they bring the dog to like the grave and the dog's like sniffing and like, he's like, the dog wants to eat his chest. The cat's gonna fucking gnaw their way into a chest cavity. So yeah, enjoy your pets, people. Enjoy your pets. Enjoy your life. Closing thought. Aging is terrifying, and the older you get, the scarier it gets, and nothing gets better. Pain is going to seep its way into your life, whether you want it to or not, via physical or emotional or mental outlets. And if you're young and listening to this, good luck. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
It's time to think about things that we call tall. Really isn't anything big, it's all small. I'm getting mixed feels knowing what the pod brings, cause it's a big deal listening to small things.
You bring her out, you have her hold small things. You bring her out, you have her hold small things. You bring her out, you have her hold small things. Hold small things.